next investigation. Now this one's basically an investigation about Muhammad. Now the culture, right? Our Western culture is things about Muhammad, right? Which is not new. Now we see here, this is a mosquito man, which is a fairly new, like superhero thing from you know, Marvel comics or something like that, right? And it's basically Muhammad, right? You see here the see here, like this thing here, mosquito man. Obviously, you know, MM is 33, and obviously the mosque. But this is basically Muhammad, right? Which brings to Batman the Dark Knight as well. So again, very similar, right? You know, to the mosquito man, right? And the bat is a blood-sucking biter, right? You see the moon and the two horns, which is exactly like the Mohammedan type of thing, right? And also like Moses, of course, Moses about the Christianity thing, right? Abrahamic. See, that's totally Mohammedan, right? And again, the bat, like the vampire becomes the bat, turns into the bat, right? Like Batley in West Yorkshire, where that assisted dying bill come from, and the you know, the Jew cocks and all that, right? So this Dark Knight thing is Muhammad, right? So again, you have this sort of this metaphor of piercing the skin, right? And then either sucking out or injecting the blood, which is exactly the same as the mosquito and the snake ideas and all that. And of course the Kali does the same thing, you know, drinks the blood with a tongue stick in it. This. So you can see, like the way all these are the same thing basically, right? Of course, this was the communist symbol as well, the scythe, horns, and the snake. Again, like Moses, Moses had the staff that changed into a snake. So basically, when you have Muhammad, Muhammad is basically the god of Freemasonry, right? He's like the Masonic idol type of thing. As you see, the top level and that seem to be something to do with these Eastern rites, you know, very Muhammad-like characterizations in that, really. So you have Darth Vader, right? Again, you know, you had this famous meme from it where he said, "I am your father." And again, this is basically like the Dark Knight of Muhammad, battle gear type of idea, you know. So basically, everything about the Luke Skywalker one was white and light, and this one was obviously black and dark. You see, as I am your father. You see, it's like the hidden thing behind religion. See, is the Eastern thing, the Mohammedan stuff. You know, the Mohammedan stuff gave rise to the what you would call the white Christian stuff and all that. See, it's hidden behind the visor, you know, because he's wearing like a mask in that. Mask in a mosque, like COVID, you know. It was all about wearing a mask. Basically Mohammedans, you know, it was Mohammedan. So basically Muhammad becomes Baphomet. Again, you know, you look the same idea as the sort of Batman and all that type of thing, you know. And the reason why it gets a bad press, right, all this sort, because they want people to be scared of this, you know, this God that they've got or whatever, right? It's just obviously made up and that, right? But they want people to be scared of it. See, that was the whole concept of it. What they were when they started doing all that Islamic stuff. You know, I've been probably going back 1970s or whatever. They started doing all that Islamic terrorist ideas and all that, so they wanted people in the West to be scared of this Muhammad type of thing. Right? The pandemic, of course, you know, the COVID was a pandemic. Europa riding the bull type of thing, you know. Europa riding the wild beast. Of course, this flag comes into play at the moment, you know, and all the stuff. Right? But as you see, Knights Templar was where the flag originates from, worship Muhammad. Sort of, you know, like a cunning devil idea and all that, you know, the diabolical plans and all that. Of course, you know, some of these ideas was the worship the head of John the Baptist, right? Of course, Baptist is Baphomet, right? So as you see, Mahomet or Muhammad, founder of Islam. See in Hindu scriptures that the goat is a vehicle of the gods. Prakriti is depicted as female goat, represent Mother Nature. basically, as we know, they practice a lot of trance in these clubs and that, societies. So basically it's a bit of a trance thing with that Muhammad, like Mommy. Remember Al Jolson? Used to sing Mommy type of thing, right? So basically you can look at the Muhammad name as like sort of mother and father in one type of thing. Like it's like all in one type of thing, mother and father wrapped into one. Right? Mummy, daddy, Muhammad. Mummy, daddy, see? So when you have this thing, right? This was the Muhammad, right? And the lyrics was, I'd walk a million miles for one of your smiles. That's Exodus. Going to the land of milk and honey and all this, right? See that his real name was Azai Wilson. Azai Wilson. Again, this was a famous song in 1963. Alan Shayman, Allah Shayman, and hello mother, hello father. It's like Muhammad. It's Muhammad. It's the combination of the two male and female aspects again. That's basically the same as this, where it symbolizes the male and female form as a source of creation. In the divine union of masculine and feminine. So this is basically the same thing again. There's all that. Of course, sex, like sex becomes sex. So it's like the sex change, the change in the sex. Hamida, which means to praise or be praised. See, one of the unique aspects of the name Muhammad is its gender neutral nature, although it is often associated with male individuals. Gender neutral, see? So you can see, basically how it saturated the West with all the culture of Muhammad, right? Through, things like that, cultural icons and storybooks and all that. You see that this extends obviously in the politics. Okay, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the great grandfather was a Turkish Muslim. So you're talking about this stuff's infiltrated through the West, really. 100%. Primarily through the Freemasonry and all that. Of course, that slave idea, the Ottoman Muslim Empire had the biggest slave trade gun in the entire world, So they're probably the slave of traders, as opposed to the Western people,